Hey guys, what is up? It is me, NintendoConsoleGamer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the second weapon in my weapon breakdown series, the Spaz 12. On the outside, the Spaz 12 looks very deceptively simple, but once you start to break it down, you'll find some very interesting quirks that you wouldn't quite expect from a gun like this. Without any further teasing, let's get right into the first factor you're probably going to want to know about this gun, which is the damage. So, if you have a stock Spaz 12, you're going to have a per pellet damage of 17, and since your Spaz will have 6 pellets per shot and your players will have 100 health, that's going to equate to 102 to 17 damage per shot depending on how many pellets you hit, which means that it will be a 1 to 6 shot kill. As I said earlier, damage does not change at a distance, so this is going to stay consistent at all ranges. Although you're going to find it very hard to hit someone with very many pellets after a certain range. Now, if you put the least of the damage upgrades, the improved damage upgrade, or in this case, improved ballistics damage, you will find that it's going to be an 18 damage per pellet, and that will equate to 108 to 18 damage per shot, which is still a 1 to 6 shot kill. And there is no headshot multiplier at all with this gun, so if you're thinking about equipping this perk without the ballistics focus upgrade, I say don't do it at all because it's not going to improve your damage one bit on this particular gun. Just save the upgrade slot and don't equip it on this gun. Now, if you're going to equip the greater damage upgrade, which is the damage focus upgrade or ballistics focus, it's going to do 19 damage per pellet, which equates to 114 to 18 damage per shot, depending on how many pellets you hit. Still going to be a 1 to 6 shot kill and no headshot multiplier. So basically, what that means in this case is that it's still not going to do you any good. So I would recommend you don't equip this if you're going to equip it without the other damage perk. Now, if you are going to combine the two damage upgrades on top of each other, it is going to be a lot better at 21 per pellet damage, which equates to 126 to 21 damage per shot, and that means 1 to 5 shots to kill. And basically that means you will only need 5 pellets to kill your enemy instead of 6 with every other combination. So I definitely recommend that you use this combination if you're going to use damage perks at all. It's going to help you kill your enemies from a little bit farther away in one shot, and it's just going to help improve your game overall because of that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is rate of fire, which is incredibly slow at 40 rounds per minute, which is, for all practical purposes, the slowest gun in Conduit 2. I'm not going to say for sure that it's the slowest because I have not yet tested the phase rifle, which is the only weapon I could see coming close to being as slow, but it's the slowest. This is the one that's going to slow you down the most because you're going to be in the face of your enemies, ideally. And so you're going to want an able secondary at all times. With the phase rifle, generally you're not going to be rushing, so it's not as big of a deal. But with this gun, it is a big deal, so you're always going to want to be switching out to your secondary after you shoot. Which brings me to something that you can do to increase your firing speed by a little bit. Well, not exactly increase your firing speed, but you will be able to cancel your pump if you switch to your weapon just after you shoot. When you come back to your Spaz, you will not have to pump it again. It will already have pumped while you were using your other gun, which is a little bit weird. And there's also another way of doing it, which is if you jump off a ledge or just jump period, right before you land, if you fire your gun, it will cancel the pump. However, it will still take the time to pump. The animation will not be there, however. So you will have to wait for a little bit before you can shoot, but I do believe you can switch your weapon and or sprint in that period, and so you can shoot when you're done with that. The chamber size, I guess, the amount of bullets you can hold in your chamber, it's not exactly a magazine, is 8, which is, it sounds small, but it's really not bad considering this is a pump action, very slow weapon. You're not going to run out of ammo very fast. The reload time is very, very slow overall. I don't have the exact data, but I can tell you it's very, very, very slow. So you'll want to reload after every few shots. I tend to reload when I get to under 6 shots left in the chamber, although it's up to you. You can reload after every shot if you want, but that's just how I prefer to do it. Your run speed with this weapon will be in between 85 and 86%. Again, I stole this directly from Simo. Sorry about that again, but this was one of the few weapons he covered, so I decided just to steal it from there for convenience, although, like I mentioned earlier, I will be testing the guns myself in the future for the ones he did not cover. And I believe that brings us to about the last thing I need to cover in this episode, which is the hipfire spread. There is pretty much no recoil at all. I mean, obviously the gun kicks visually, you can see it kick, but it doesn't matter because by the time you're going to be able to fire your second shot, it will have already centered. So recoil is of no matter with this gun. However, there is the matter of the pellet spread, which I am going to delve into about right now. From extremely short ranges, you're going to find that your pellet spread is pretty tight, which is very good considering you want to be hitting your enemy with many of your pellets. This is going to be your maximum really effective range, which would be short range. Now, from closer to medium range, you're going to see that your pellet spread is still fairly tight. It's very doable. You can still hit enemies if you're aiming at them. Which works very well if you want to get someone down to half health before switching to a secondary and taking them out. Now, from medium to long range, which is where you're not going to want to be using this shotgun from, you're gonna see that the pellet spread is loose, but however, you will see that it is not nearly as loose as the Scar's recoil from the same distance, which is a bit interesting. But it is still very workable from this range. You can hit people if you want to get them a little bit down on health before you take them out with your secondary, and that's what the gun works best with at that range. And it is not bad at it. Now, this is one of the quirks I promised about this gun. As you can see, I am aiming completely across the map on Streets Prime, and on the second shot, I'm actually going to hit my opponent with one pellet, which is pretty crazy that you can hit someone from across the map with this gun, so I thought that was pretty funny. It's not going to do any real damage, but you can still hit someone. However, I found it to be about 1 in 15 shots or so, so it's not very easy, not very practical, and you're not going to want to try to do that unless it's just for laughs or something. Now, my overall feel on this gun is that it's very, very, very good at close ranges. It will often be taking out your opponents with one shot unless they have armor, which I will cover in a separate video, but for the most part, you're going to find that you're going to be killing a lot of people at close range, which is going to be very nice. It's very, very good at that. It is the king of close range combat. Medium range, not so much, but you can still use it as sort of a starter weapon to get some early damage on your opponent and then take them out with your secondary or with a weapon you picked up off the ground. At long ranges, it's bad, and I would not recommend using it at all from that range, so do not do that, please. Just save yourself, and obviously if you're going to run into a group of people, you're going to need to equip your secondary, or you're going to need to use your secondary right away. I switched to my Dark Star here on accident, which I didn't mean to do, but that's my overall feel about this gun. I think it is the king of close range, and now the upgrades I like to use with it. First of all, I like to use Ballistics focus and Ballistics, improved Ballistics damage, obviously, so I can get those 5 pellet kills instead of 6 pellets. It increases your range a little bit, and that's very good. And I also like to run Stabilizer to make your crosshair a little smaller. I know you're going to be very close to your enemy anyways, but it does help with your secondary. And then I like to run Quickness because of the slow reload time to improve that down a little bit. And for my secondary, it is a tie between either the USP or the MP5K. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I worked very hard to produce it. My next video is most likely going to be on the phase rifle. It should come up in a few days, so be looking forward to that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, please feel free to leave a dislike. And if you really liked the video and you haven't already, then hit the subscribe button. It would really help me out, but for now, guys, I will see you later. Goodbye.